Hey guys, in this video, I'll be talking about the COVID rent relief program that was recently put in place by New York State Legislature. Overall, I'll be going through the overview of the COVID rent relief program, then I'll be talking about the eligibility and some requirements, and finally, we'll go through the entire application process step by step. But before we begin, I would like to let you know that the main purpose of my videos that I've created so far are to help people who are confused on the topic of unemployment insurance or pandemic unemployment assistance and the entire COVID-19 circumstances that people are facing. I'm trying to guide individuals to get the financial assistance during the economic hardship. So if you like my work and the videos that I've made so far, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Also, leave a comment below and ask me any questions that you have related to unemployment insurance or pandemic unemployment assistance, and I'll do my best to answer them all. Also, if you are new to my channel and you haven't watched my other videos about missing backdate payments and weekly certification process, then click on the link above to check them out. So with that out of the way, let's begin the video. With COVID-19 and economic hardship that most people are facing right now because of it, it's no wonder it's been a tough time for many people. And with the rents piling up and the federal pandemic unemployment compensation, which is $600, expiring this July 26th, it's not getting any better. The rent relief program has been handled by a Homes and Community Renewal Agency. In these dire circumstances, the New York State Legislature came up with a new program that will help alleviate the rent burden many people are facing right now. The COVID rent relief program is a one-time rental subsidy that will be provided to eligible household. The money will not be sent to the applicant, but instead it will be sent directly to the landlord. COVID rent relief program will accept the application throughout the 2 weeks application period, that is through July 17th to July 31st. And it will be prioritized to the household who are in greater needs at the moment due to income loss and rent burden. So it's not on first come, first served basis. The rental assistance payment does not fully pay the rent on your behalf, but rather it will cover the difference of the rent burden between prior March 1st, 2020 and for the months for which you're applying for the assistance. And in total, you can apply for up to 4 months in rental assistance. This is not a loan, so the applicants will not to repay this assistance. Now that we have gone through the overview, let's talk about the eligibility criteria of the program. First criteria to be eligible for this program is obviously to be a renter living in New York State. This subsidy is only available for renters, not the landlords. Secondly, your household income, including unemployment insurance, should be below 80% of the HUD's area median income. This area income is defined across the country each year by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So under HUD's area median income limit and based on your household size, it should be below 80% of your area median income. For example, if you're living in New York, and your family size is 2, then your income has to be below $72,800. And I'll show the entire chart shortly, as well as list the link in the description. Thirdly, you should have income lost between April 1st, 2020 and July 31st, 2020 compared to the monthly income before March 1st, 2020, that is pre-COVID. If you have lost income in any of these months between April and July, then you can apply for a rent subsidy for that month, or if you have lost the income for all 4 months between April and July, then you can apply for the rent subsidy for all 4 months. But in either case, you'll have to apply for the subsidy in one time. Fourthly, in your monthly expenditure, you must be paying more than 30% of your household income for rent before March 1st, 2020, and only if you're paying more than 30% of your income on rent, it is considered as rent burden, and you'll have to be bearing that rent burden even before COVID-19 in order to apply. Also, your rent burden must be increased since March 1st, 2020, so that you'll receive the difference of the rent burden as a subsidy. This is the entire list of HUD's 80% median income level shown in the different counties of New York State. And it shows 80% median income level for different household sizes as well. I'll list the link on the description so that you can check it out. Also, to keep in mind before you apply for this program is that your household should have at least one member with US citizenship or eligible immigration status in order to qualify to receive the subsidy. And New York residents receiving a Section 8 housing choice voucher or who reside in a public housing are not eligible for this assistance. And finally, some documents that will be required in order to be eligible for the program are, first and foremost, a valid government-issued ID. Second, a lease agreement in your household name which shall prove a monthly rent obligation. A proof of income which can be done by a pay stub or tax return. So, before we begin with the application process, let me show you how this program works and how the subsidy is actually calculated based on your rent burden. Let's say the monthly gross income before COVID-19 was $4,500 for this family, and after COVID-19 the income dropped to $2,700. That means the new gross income is only 60% of the previous income. And let's say for this case the monthly rent is $1,500. So before COVID-19, with the income of $4,500, it shows that the household is spending 33% of the income on their rent. Now, to qualify a household as having a rent burden, you'll need to be spending a minimum of 30% of your household gross income in the rent. So in this case, the household does qualify as having a rent burden to begin with. And now, with the new income of $2,700 a month and a rent remaining the same, the rent burden is now 55%. Now the program tries to maintain your initial rent burden rate, which is 33% in this case, and it does so with the new income as well. So in this way, the household ends up paying the same portion of the income in the rent. So in this case, 33% of the pre-COVID portion of the income combined with the new income of $2,700 comes out to be $891. So the difference between the rent amount of $1,500 previously and the $891 right now, which is $609, will be provided by the program as a rent subsidy. And you can apply this for up to 4 months. And now that we have understood about the rent relief program, let's begin with the actual application process. So first, open your browser and in the web address type covidrentrelief.hcr.ny.gov. This is the official Rent Relief Program official website, and now click on Calculate Eligibility and Apply. And here you can see a few questionnaires just to see whether you're eligible or not. And the first address is that is your primary residence in New York State? It should be yes. Are you currently renting your primary residence? It should be yes if you want to qualify. Do you have less monthly income in any month between April 2020 and July 2020 than you did prior to March 1st, 2020 due to COVID-19 pandemic? It's yes. Now the next question is, are you currently in a receipt of Section 8 housing assistance or living in public housing where your rent cannot exceed 30% of income? It should be no, because like I said before, any person who is a recipient of Section 8 housing assistance or living in public housing are not qualified for this program. The next question is, what county is your primary residence in? And that depends on your case as well. Just type wherever you live in. And the next question shows how many people are in your household. And in this case, let's say it's 2. And what was the total monthly income, including unemployment benefits and pandemic unemployment benefits prior, that is prior to March 1st, that is pre-COVID-19. So list that income, whatever you have. And the next question is, what is your total household income, including unemployment benefits and pandemic unemployment benefits now, that is after COVID-19? So you're going to list that income as well. And once you do that, you can go ahead and check your eligibility. And in this case, it's saying you may be eligible. That's because you need to provide additional proof of your primary residence, your monthly rent obligations, as well as the proof of income. And now we'll apply for the actual rent relief program. Hit that apply button. And once you hit that apply button, you will be redirected to a new page. And actually that page will be of New York State ID place. If you have applied for unemployment insurance or pandemic unemployment assistance before, it's the same ID, or basically it's the same login profile that you'll need to use in order to apply for the rent relief program as well. So go ahead and log in with your username and ID, and once you have logged in, it'll show you that you have successfully logged in as shown in your username. Then hit continue, and on the next page it's going to be a COVID rent relief official website, and it's going to ask you whether you're trying to apply for yourself or are you going to apply for somebody else. In this case, we're going to apply for ourselves. So let's click on that. On the next page, you will see there's a list of questionnaires, and there's a total of 6 steps, and this is the first step. It's asking for your primary residence address. The first is a county. Choose a county wherever you're living in. Second is the address. It must meet a valid New York State address. So make sure it is verified at the very end when you type it. Next, it's asking how many bedrooms do you have in your residence. So in this case, it'll be 1. And the next is asking, is this your primary residence? And yes, it is. Next, it's asking, are you currently renting this residence? And like I said before, it has to be yes if you want to qualify, because only renters are qualified for this program. And finally, the mailing address. In this case, the primary residence address is the same as the mailing address. So check on that and click continue. On the next page, it's asking you, how do you typically pay your rent? Some people pay by cash, some people pay by check, some people make direct deposit. In this case, it's going to be check. And then it's asking you, how much do you pay on monthly rent prior to March 1st, that is prior to COVID-19. On the third question, it's asking you your monthly rent at the time of application. In this case, the monthly rent is the same amount. If you have a landlord that have decreased your rent as a result of COVID-19, list the new rent in this third question. The fourth question is asking you, have you been delinquent on rent on any month starting from April 1st, 2020 till now at the time of application? And you could be delinquent on the rent, and that's fine. If it is, type yes, and it's going to ask you for the total amount of rent deficiencies that you have, and you need to give that amount, which is totally fine. Also, it's asking for months that you have been delinquent for. Some people have not paid their rent, or they are behind on their rent for all months from April till July. Some people have not been able to pay a rent for July or just June. Whichever is the case, just follow the instructions accordingly. In this case, it's going to be no, and even that is okay, because even if you have paid your rents in full till now, you can use that subsidy amount to pay for the rent for the later months. You can use up for that later months as well. Or if you have used the security deposit to pay the rent, then you can use to replenish that security deposit amount as well. So in either case, you should be fine and you should be getting the rental subsidy in general. On the next page, it's asking you for the eligibility based on the number of residents living in your household and the total amount of income in your household. So put in how many people that you live with in your household. In this case, it's going to be 2. And again, it's following up with the same question that at least one person residing in the household should be a United States citizen or at least have eligible immigration status. So yes, that is yes in our case, so we'll type in there. Next, it's asking you for the social security number. If you have that, put in social security number. If you don't, then you can also put like tax ID number. We're gonna put social security number in this case here. Then the next question it's asking is for, are there any disabled household members in your family? If it's yes, type in yes. If it's no, it's no. In our case, it's going to be no. Then it's asking you, is there any senior member in your household? That's going to be no in our case as well. Then it's asking for the total income, including, that's very important, including unemployment benefit and pandemic unemployment benefits of all the adults living in your household that is prior to March 1st. So put that number over there. Then it's asking you for the total amount of income, monthly income, including unemployment insurance, pandemic unemployment assistance, PUC, even $600 of all the adults living in your household at the time of the application. It wants to calculate how much is your total gross income at the time of application. So it has to be accurate. Next, it's asking you, was there a month in which the total monthly income was lower than the time of the application? If it was yes, then type yes, and it's going to give you an option to choose between April, May, June, and July, whichever month you had a lowest income compared to the time of application, and then you'll have to put in the amount of the total income for that month. If it is no in your case, that's fine too. You can just type no and you can move on with the next question. And the next question, it's asking you for, are you receiving a Section 8 housing assistance or are you living in a public housing? If it is yes, then you're not qualified again. So it has to be no if you want to qualify for this program. And the last question is asking you, are you receiving any other rental subsidy besides the program that you're applying right now? If it's yes, type yes. If it's no, type no. In this case, it's no, and we'll move ahead. Then on the next page, it's asking you for your personal information, your first name, your middle name, your last name. Also, do you have a social security number or tax ID number? If you prefer to give your social security number, that's fine. Otherwise, you can give your tax ID number as well. Also, your date of birth, your race, and your ethnicity. You have to provide your email address and phone number for the contact, and you can choose which is your preferred method of contact. Also, it's asking you, are you a full-time student? Please answer these questions as per your own case. Then it's asking you for the monthly income on March 1st, 2020 and your monthly income at the time of application. Once you put the amount on your monthly income on March 1st, 2020 and at the time of application, it'll ask you to upload supporting documents, that is a proof of income. And like I said before, the proof of income could be your W-2, your pay stub, or your tax return for 2019, anything that is acceptable by the New York State. And you'll also have to upload the proof of income for the current time, that is the time of application as well. Next, it's asking you that have you received or are you receiving an unemployment insurance benefit during the coverage period, that is from April to July, like I said just a while ago. If it is so, then you'll have to give the total amount of your weekly unemployment insurance amount. Next is asking you for your monthly income on a specific category, how you're making that monthly income. Is it through the salary or wages? Is it through child support? Is it through Social Security disability? Or is it through Social Security retirement fund? If you have those amounts, please list them accordingly. If your only income at the time of application is through unemployment insurance or pandemic unemployment assistance, then you can click on others and put the amount there. And next, it's asking you for the proof of identity, that is government issued ID, which can be driver license or just a state ID. And once you upload that document, click next. It's going to show you on the next page the household composition. So how many numbers of household do you have? It's going to show you the list of the number of residents in there, and you have to complete the detailed information for each residence in your household. So we'll go ahead and complete with the second residence of this household now. The questions are quite similar to the first one. It's asking you for your first name, middle name, and last name. It's asking you for your date of birth, your social security number, and if you are a full-time student. So like I said before, answer them based on your own case. Next, it's asking you for your monthly income that is on March 1st, and it's asking you for your monthly income at the time of application. And just like the case before, you'll have to upload the proof of income for March 1st and proof of income for the time of application. Then you'll need to answer if you are receiving unemployment insurance during this coverage period from April to July. If so, you have to give the amount. And finally, it's asking you if you have an income, please provide your monthly salary or the wages. Then you can press continue, and on the next page you can see it shows resident 1 and 2 and their information has been completed. So go ahead and click next. On the next page, it's asking you for your landlord information. The first question is the business type landlord or is it a property management company? Whichever case may be, please provide it accordingly. In this case, it's going to be a property management company and the company name will be there. You'll need to provide the business address, business email address, and the office phone number. And finally, you'll need to provide the proof of the rent amount. And this should be your lease agreement and it should be under your household member's name. And finally, on the last step, it's just a review. Whatever you have written there, just make sure you go through all of the information and make sure it's correct and you have an updated information in there. And there you have it, guys. This is the entire process of COVID rent relief program application. This was a step-by-step guide. If there is anything you're missing, anything you're confused about, please don't hesitate to question on the comment section below. I'll try to answer them as quick as possible since the deadline is very close. Once again, if you like my video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more of the informative videos. Thank you everyone and have a good day.